Chapter 1. Sasha was determined not to cry. She hadn't when she'd left any of the other places, and she didn't want to break that record now. So she kept her head high and stared straight ahead through the windscreen. Fran switched on the engine and put the car into gear. "Don't you want to wave goodbye?" she asked. Sasha shook her head and scowled. Trust a social worker to make a stupid suggestion like that. Didn't she realise there was no point in looking back? This part of her life was over, just like all the placements before it. If that lot didn't want her anymore, she didn't want them either. "How are you feeling?" asked Fran, as she drove out of the drive and turned towards the main road. Sasha ignored her. She was too busy trying to catch one last glimpse of the Shetland pony in the field opposite. He was close to the fence as usual, and he pricked his ears forward as they drove past. Did he realise this was the last time that she would ever see him? She turned her head and watched him disappear into the distance. Talking to that pony had been one of the few good things about her stay with Georgina and Gerald. The others were the riding lessons, of course, but they stopped as soon as Cynthia fell off. "I asked how you're feeling," said Fran. Sasha rolled her eyes upwards and sighed. Why were social workers so irritating? She'd lost count of how many she'd had since she first came into care. They bounded into her life, made out they were her best friend, and then left again with barely a goodbye. Fran was the latest, and like all the others, she thought she had the right to know everything. But Sasha had only known her a month and had no intention of revealing her innermost secrets. "I'm fine," she lied, still staring out of the side window. She hoped she'd spot some more horses, but she didn't. As the car sped along the main road and onto the motorway, the only animals she saw in the fields were cows and sheep. They'd been driving for half an hour when Fran pulled into a motorway service station and parked. "Time for tea," she said as she turned off the engine. Sasha's stomach told her this was a good idea, but her heart wasn't so sure. Everything she owned was in her rucksack, and the black plastic sacks that filled the back of the car. She didn't want to risk losing any of them. "Can't we keep going? I'm sure they'll find me something to eat at the home, even if I've missed supper." Fran shook her head. "I need a break from driving," she explained, "and we need a little talk. Your stuff will be fine here. I'll lock the car, I promise." The last comment took Sasha by surprise. She hadn't expected Fran to be so tuned in to how she was feeling. But she still didn't trust her. Too many social workers had broken promises before, especially ones of the "it'll be fine" variety. So she refused to walk away from the car until she tested the doors herself to make sure no one could get in. And she took her rucksack with her. Her riding hat and her photos of her mum were too important to risk losing.